I want to ask you about Jay-Z's album.
I think it's genius. I mean, like all of his projects, I thought it was really great.
Jay-Z new video with Nas and DJ Khaled is a scene with checkerboards. These are all occult.
Industry was rocked by that event. When the decision was made, there was an instantaneous response, even though few anticipated it. Raymir, a man who has long maintained that he is Jay-Z's biological son, won a significant court case. The $1.66 billion award was astounding. This was not a confidential settlement, nor a deal reached behind closed doors. It was a court-ordered ruling that could have an impact on everything from Roc Nation's streaming rights to tour earnings. According to reports, Beyoncé, who is frequently regarded as a representation of precision and control, has been significantly impacted by the decision. The verdict raises many issues about the future of Roc Nation and how this decision will affect the careers, finances, and public image of individuals involved. According to sources, she is going about her daily activities while maintaining a level of controlled concern. Both industry experts and fans are eagerly awaiting.
I have no felonies, I'm not crazy or none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And it seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
He has been able to avoid the problem for years. He has evaded DNA tests, denied the allegations, and maintained his reputation as one of the most inviolable people in music. Raymir's court victory altered everything, yet the charges frequently sounded like background noise that never penetrated. The wall of control he had established around himself, this isn't merely another rumor or filing. This ruling removes the protection Jay-Z has depended on for so long and directly puts pressure on him. It is hard to overlook the situation because of the ruling. Even for someone with Jay-Z's level of wealth, a $1.6 billion payout is not insignificant. It's not the sort of money that just vanishes. Time is now a concern. This degree of financial damage could have serious repercussions, including asset sales, broken brand alliances, and anxious investors reevaluating their investments. The situation gains weight with each day that passes without a resolution. It damages his reputation and casts doubt on the stability of what he has achieved the longer it's.
Beyonce for sure. I love her. I love Beyonce. Jay-Z too, I really admire the both of them.
Then there is Beyonce. His whole career has been built on control, discipline, and accuracy. She has maintained an almost flawless public persona, shielded from the cacophony of rumors. However, her marriage is currently in the midst of a crisis that even she is unable to completely handle. Rumor has it that she has already made a private ultimatum. The ultimatum is straightforward but strong. Settle this matter before it gets out of hand or jeopardize everything they have worked so hard to achieve as a marriage. The strain is now personal as well as financial. It is impossible to calculate at this moment. Jay-Z has faced numerous public issues, but Beyoncé has supported him through them. This isn't a passing controversy or online gossip. The most challenging aspect would be the nature of the accusations. It is a recorded court ruling that has both financial and ethical significance. The matter is more than just a financial dispute because they go back decades to when Raymir's mother was a minor. It turns into a test of morality and reputation that has long-term effects. How would a family respond to such a headline? How can a billion-dollar ruling related to these accusations be used as the setting for a global tour? It is nearly impossible to reconcile the obvious disparity between their brand and this reality. For Beyoncé, the issue extends beyond stages and cameras. At the heart of this storm are three youngsters. Protecting kids from the inevitable inquiries and rumors at school turns into a challenge that no parent wants to undertake. Every unresolved issue heightens the quiet, and every headline draws their names nearer to the mayhem. Their families. Stability is now linked to one of the most public scandals in music history, making it more than just a...
That was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
Has it that discreet calls to well-known Divorce lawyers are being made. The discussions are exploratory and discreet, but they are important enough to sustain the rumors. These are the kinds of conversations that, once initiated, hardly end without repercussions. Additionally, it appears that Beyoncé loses time. Defending her story with every court delay, Jay-Z's legal team wins. According to reports, her inner circle worries that the harm is already being done. It's talked about endorsements have slowed or even stopped, and luxury partners are reportedly keeping a close eye on things. The currency of business in our world is optics, and those optics are currently displaying fractures. This degree of scrutiny is unsettling for someone who has created a perfect brand. This is made even more difficult by the potential for a fresh round of claims. In addition to validating his experience, Ramir's court triumph may pave the way for others who have been marginalized for a long time. Letta Mezzer, a Maryland lady who has long claimed to be Jay-Z's daughter, is one name that keeps coming up. Her story has long been buried in the background, never getting more attention than rumors and fleeting headlines. The allegations were mostly dismissed, and Jay-Z has never publicly acknowledged her. However, Ramir's triumph alters that view, demonstrating that tenacity in court may compel even the most powerful to respond. Mezzer's story is strengthened by her background. She has talked about how everyone in the little village where she grew up reportedly murmured about who her father was. She talked about her mother's struggles with a serious illness and how she had to raise her brothers while keeping a secret that no one wanted to discuss in public. According to reports, her camp is now feeling more confident. She might perceive an opportunity to do the same, as Ramir has broken past a legal barrier that previously appeared insurmountable. The timing couldn't be more precarious for Jay-Z if she decides to pursue her case. He might be facing the start of several paternity disputes rather than a single ruling to close the book. In the public eye, it would be nearly hard to control. Two distinct accusations that are both connected to decades-old complaints. It might start a domino effect.
Jay was more quiet. But I mean, I learned that Jay was being quiet because he was taking notes. He was taking notes, observing everything, taking it all in. Because, sometimes you're around and you're watching to see things to do. But some people are around.
The allegations made against Letta Mezzer's former friend are much more concerning. This story claims that Jay-Z bought her a house in Cambridge, Maryland, and has been discreetly paying her bills for years. They assert that the agreement has stringent requirements, such as prohibiting the display of his picture within her house. Although these charges have been made before, they have never been supported by evidence. Jay-Z has chosen to remain silent in order to avoid confronting the accusations head-on. However, with Ramir's legal triumph, that silence might not last. Now, every unresolved accusation has the potential to appear more like avoidance than denial. Ignoring the claims could worsen the harm in a public setting where impressions can be just as harmful as evidence. Mezzer may face serious repercussions if he chooses to proceed and disclose fresh information. She has more to show, more to say, and more to prove than has ever been made public, according to several in her group. The tale might swiftly change, from one of a reluctant father to one of serial denial if that knowledge were revealed. This change in perspective would be more devastating than a personal scandal. It would damage Jay-Z's standing as a public personality who has long been regarded as a cultural leader, entrepreneur, and role model. The repercussions could affect both reputation and revenue streams for an artist whose influence is based on both music and commercial credentials.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me.
Jay-Z's empire is becoming harder to ignore due to its instability. Control, influence, and credibility are the cornerstones of the image that our OC Nation, Tidal, and Diaz Cognac rely on. The confidence that holds those endeavors together starts to wane without that foundation. Stability, not scandal, is what attracts business partners. Furthermore, Jay-Z has currently come to represent ambiguity. Every accusation connected to previous interactions with minors and every affiliation with divisive personalities erodes the confidence that sustains his business network. Even more precarious than this is Beyoncé's position. In addition to being his spouse, she is a well-known worldwide brand in her own right, driving fashion, movies, fragrances, and tours. Since her reputation has been based on perfection and discipline, scandal by association is unlikely. Maintaining a public alliance with Jay-Z during a protracted legal battle may weaken the very brand power that drives her business. She runs the risk of being perceived as leaving him in the midst of commotion. Though, if she leaves too soon, it is said that this balancing act has reached its limit. Those close to her say she is running out of patience. All of the options available to her are expensive, but the price of doing nothing could be the greatest. Her name might be linked to a story that she has no control over if she keeps standing by him without finding a solution. And it might be the worst danger of Kanger. M-O-T. Like, look at this. And we all know I've been exploring that P. And we all know I've been exploring that path. We might mean like to a story that she has no control over. If she keeps gains, and we might stay segure. I can why to se place again. Quai seguend. At we walk, I might be d'accord with fi if I segate it. With case at we need to see with Ted a case a can we sakige kaida to concui we can we sit we so you we cite us can do with you ya kalaka de cookies to cut I food a chic you deep dirt rib with I with you wait all for someone whose career has depended on controlling the story.
It's what I look for. When I see a success, I'm looking for anything
to say that they didn't do it on their own?
Detain it.
At this time, it becomes more difficult to distinguish between one's personal life and professional image. The stakes are raised by the potential for Lita and Ramir to advance their claims concurrently. In the event that their legal claims are overlapping, this could lead to confusion and further public attention. Every witness, record, or statement that comes to light would give the narrative a new dimension. Every day, it's more about the headlines and less about personal affairs. It would be nearly impossible to avoid the transition from court battle to public narrative. This poses a different kind of issue for Beyoncé. Although her image for control and discipline is linked to her public appearances, even minor inquiries made at events can have a significant impact, according to those close to her. The frequent backstage discussions have caused her to carefully contemplate her future course of action. Her marriage is not the only issue. Her decisions also have an impact on her status as a mother and a globally recognized person. There are hazards associated with each option, and waiting too long may increase those risks. She is now under pressure to maintain the equilibrium she has always maintained. In the past, the couple presented themselves as impenetrable and served as a symbol of togetherness and strength in the music industry. Now, overlapping legal conflicts and increased scrutiny of their personal lives are putting that same image to the test. The public's perception of the cases may drastically change as they proceed and fresh information becomes available. What was once thought to be strong and unbreakable may start to appear brittle. The narrative may shift from awe to caution far sooner than anticipated if the tension increases.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make a...
In the background, the sense of inevitable events continues to grow. Jay-Z has been using legal strategies and a capable defense team to shield some aspects of his history for years. In circumstances when others would not have been as lucky, that strategy has enabled him to evade direct accountability. However, the burden of continuous litigation and public scrutiny makes it more difficult to keep those same doors closed. A menace that appeared far away is now becoming closer. Every case increases the pressure and reduces his options. The music industry and public opinion do not function in the same way as courts. And the mystery surrounding celebrities has minimal bearing on the evidence and verdicts that are presented. Ramir's recent triumph has already demonstrated that. Jay-Z's defense is not without flaws. Not only did that billion-dollar result garner media attention, but it also showed others that perseverance might pay off. The possibility that previous accusations could reappear is now more significant than ever. Now, there's a possibility for a new battle for each silent dismissal. How many more will he be able to handle?
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both.
Just the figures are startling, and that's just the beginning. A judgment of $1.6 billion is more than just another expense. It strikes at the very center of Jay-Z's enterprise like a wrecking ball. The publishing company, sports sector, and artist roster of Roc Nation are all impacted by this financial uncertainty. Even seasoned partners will be reconsidering their stances. The pressure affects every aspect of the company, not just one. It is harder to control the situation when it reaches that extent. The consequences could be severe if the full payment is enforced. It might be necessary to sell significant assets rapidly in order to avoid the verdict. This covers his ownership of title in addition to his stakes in high-end drinks and other businesses. Giving up precious stakes for significantly less than their value is a common consequence of fire sales. The harm is not just monetary. It also affects one's reputation. The sense of control tends to diminish as these sales commence. The loss of money alone may not be as harmful as that change. It's difficult to ignore the spectacle of a magnate rushing to liquidate. Panic can spread quickly in a field where confidence is key. To reduce risk, business partners may put some distance between them. As they wait to see if the empire holds or breaks even more, investors may begin to withdraw. These actions generate momentum that is hard to undo. Every action made under duress will be carefully scrutinized. And even minor choices have far-reaching effects in that setting. Interview 7 have already started in private salons and high-rise offices where big deals are made. Marketing staff are trying to eliminate Jay-Z's image from future promotions, and investors are having urgent meetings. Even a combined release has been postponed till further notice by one luxury brand. These actions demonstrate how fast business partners respond when a name is ambiguous. At this stage, the issue isn't only one of legal guilt or innocence. Association and its impact on corporate relationships are the true problem. Even the slightest rumor has the power to upend an industry that is based on reputation and image. In order to prevent such repercussions, partners frequently separate early. Repairing the issue becomes more challenging every day that the verdict remains unresolved. The sense of instability intensifies, and the uncertainty persists. Regardless of the real result, it is more difficult to change once that perception is established. Jay-Z is currently facing this difficulty in preserving his reputation. Courtroom loss. People are not viewing Ramir's victory in a vacuum. Rather, they perceive it as the first fracture in a dam that has been strained for years. As a result of that change, the past is being examined with renewed vigor, and old tales are coming to light. The tale of Letitia Mayer is one that is receiving more attention. After being ignored for years, her claims are now coming back with new vigor. Those who remember her predicament remember the relatives who supposedly put her mother in touch with Jay-Z. Her small town's rumors never completely vanished. More people are speaking up on social media than ever before, with many claiming Letitia has been silent for far too long. Speculation regarding her next course of action is being fueled by that pressure. The timing might work against her if she takes her case to court with the same tenacity Ramir has shown. It might be hard for Jay-Z to control the fallout. Interview to 9:30 to 9:40. Now, industry insiders are posing the awkward query. Is it possible that there will be other claims if there are currently two? Other accusations have come up in gossip columns throughout the years, but they were promptly dismissed. They vanished without much notice at the time. Recent events, however, have changed the picture. With a billion-dollar verdict now officially part of the public record, old rumors are being re-examined. Once discarded stories are now becoming more relevant. People are reconsidering what was previously disregarded because of the altered climate. The way that the past is currently interpreted is shaped by perception. The unwillingness to take a DNA test is one factor that is causing speculation. What used to look like a typical privacy choice made by celebrities now seems dubious. It appears to be opposition against the truth to many. The idea that more claims might potentially come to light is greatly strengthened by each no comment. Interview, 10 to 7, 10:15, ignoring the personal pressure is getting more difficult. According to some close to the Carters, their home is under stress, with schedules being changed frequently and few public appearances. It has the feel of continuous damage control. According to reports, Beyoncé's team, which is renowned for their accuracy in handling her image, is overworked. They are now concentrating on protecting her brand from the consequences. As the paternity stories persist, the public discourse turns away from music and artistic expression. Rather, focus shifts to a complex legacy with many unresolved issues. This is a concerning development for someone like Jay-Z, whose reputation has been based on dominance and untouchability. He has always chosen which details of his story to share, with the remainder shielded by legal restrictions. Currently, those who are making personal claims connected to his lineage are forcing those barriers open, not competitors in the industry. It is almost tough to alter the public's view once they begin to perceive a pattern. The storm is particularly dangerous because of the link between reputational harm and financial vulnerability. Losing one can be recovered, but losing both is far more difficult. The danger becomes more apparent when one imagines the headlines. The consequences might be disastrous if Jay-Z is rushing to handle a billion-dollar judgment in another case. From an accused youngster surfaces. The media would start connecting old stories to current events, and each new allegation would gain credibility. He might not be able to control the momentum that swiftly builds. In that case, it would resemble a slow-motion collapse that would be impossible for even the most skilled publicist to turn into a tale of redemption. Every new development would reinforce the notion of a pattern, undermining confidence in his well-cultivated public persona. The unraveling would go right to the heart of his legacy for someone who has long shaped his story. Interview, 11:33, 11:44. Public reaction provides competitors and detractors more space to shape the narrative. The situation has subtly turned into a loyalty test throughout Hollywood. Instead of standing up for Jay-Z, some of his longtime allies are staying silent and observing from a distance. Their hesitancy illustrates how brittle public partnerships can be. The silence from certain people has been particularly apparent since Ramir's court victory. Kanye West has refrained from speaking out despite his relationship with Jay-Z evolving from one of brothers to antagonism. The fact that these well-known figures have not made any statements speaks loudly. Rihanna, one of ROC Nation's most popular musicians, has likewise decided not to explicitly or even indirectly recognize the situation. They are keeping quiet to avoid unforeseen consequences, not only to avoid gossip. They can come under the same scrutiny if they publicly associate themselves with the controversy. Silence frequently speaks louder than words in a field when reputation is everything. Interview 12:35, 13 o'clock, however. Some have taken advantage of the occasion to rekindle old grievances. Jay-Z's unwillingness to undergo a DNA test has been repeatedly criticized by 50 Cent, who rarely stays out of controversy. He has transformed the paternity lawsuit into a spectacle full of memes on social media. In addition to being personal digs, his remarks also serve as a warning to the industry that Jay-Z's wall of respect is eroding. In a field where prospects for business are frequently shaped by perception, it is significant when a competitor of comparable caliber makes fun of him. It undermines Jay-Z's once enjoyed air of untouchability. Public derision has the power to tip the scales, causing others to reevaluate their partnerships. Doubts that are already present can be heightened by the speech of a single rival. There is an implicit calculation at work, as the split reactions make clear. Silence may be the result of carefully assessing one's own weaknesses. They understand that the effects could extend well beyond Jay-Z if he has a complete breakdown. One's secure relationships and business endeavors could be called into question at any time. The entertainment industry is intricately linked, based on mutual investments and personal agreements. Anybody who is too closely connected can be brought down by a collapse at the top layer. In this setting, being silent is more about surviving than it is about being uncaring. It appears that many are placing bets that the storm will pass without requiring them. To take sides. Interview 2, 14 o'clock, 14:13. Influence is another aspect that shapes reactions behind the scenes. Jay-Z's network, which has been developed over many years, includes charity boards, award committees, and corporate alliances. Not only may speaking out against him jeopardize personal relationships, but it could also jeopardize lucrative prospects associated with those relationships. It is nevertheless hard to overlook the extent of his influence. Veterans in the industry know that these kinds of networks take time to dismantle. Power tends to have its appeal even when scandal is there. Many may lose access to important networks that influence their commercial endeavors and careers if they completely distance themselves. It is rarely an easy choice. Fear of the repercussions is another factor contributing to hesitancy to act. In addition to loyalty, public criticism may result in reprisals or exclusion from events related to Jay-Z's network. Silence turns into a strategy for certain people to safeguard their access and reputation. Many people remain on the sidelines because of this risk balance. Interview 1441, 1504. Speculation that the entertainment elite adhere to an unwritten agreement grows stronger the longer this difference persists. The concept is straightforward. Safeguard one another, even if doing so means sacrificing openness. According to that perspective, Jay-Z's supporters' silence appears to be more akin to coordination than prudence. Avoiding a precedent where private activity becomes public liability is the aim. This anxiety begs the bigger question: who might be next if Jay-Z falls off? That idea looms large over the sector like a threat. Choosing to intervene or withdraw from a business that is based on reputation frequently comes down to survival more than ethics. It's rarely easy to strike a balance between loyalty and self-defense. However, it is still unclear if Jay-Z's wealth, power, and cultural reach will be enough to protect him in the future. History demonstrates that influential people in this field have weathered several scandals. They were frequently sustained by these same networks that are currently exhibiting symptoms of stress. This time, the pressure is greater. This is a multifaceted challenge rather than a single topic. It puts his personal life stability, business partners' commitment, and legal team's tenacity to the test. More significantly, it strains the public's patience. And it's almost impossible to regain trust after that patience. Run Stout Interview 15:56/16:08. We are currently in what seems to be a pivotal moment. On one route, Jay-Z might fight his way back, using his riches and power to resolve conflicts. silence detractors and restore stability. The other scenario is an empire disintegrating, with assets being lost, alliances being weakened, and a legacy being rewritten through legal records rather than music. The main question is whether this scandal will ultimately bring down one of the most powerful people in the industry, or will he be able to go away again with the same strength and influence that made him? The response may influence not only his career, but also the music industry's larger culture. This tale has the potential to completely reshape the way that responsibility and power interact in the industry. So please share your comments below. Stay alert, remain curious, and continue to pay close attention until the next time. Any minute now, the next headline might appear.